Messages from Shaltazar, the angel you don't know. Greetings, dear ones. We are Shaltazar, the Gavish Baninu, the energy of 33, the master teacher, and the energy of 44, the master healer. Words, dear ones, are not merely sounds. They are vibrations that shape your beliefs, your emotions, and your realities. The language you speak carries immense power. It can elevate your consciousness or reinforce your limitations. Many of the phrases you have inherited over the years are soaked in fear, rooted in survival, not in expansion. One such saying is this: better the devil you know than the devil you don't. You utter it as a way of justifying your choice to stay in the familiar, even when the familiar is unfulfilling, painful, or stagnant. It is a phrase rooted in fear, in a desire for certainty, even at the cost of joy. But we come to offer you another way, for beyond the devil you know is not simply another devil. It is the angel you have not yet come to recognize. We come to you today to speak of discomfort, not the pain that startles, not the crisis that erupts suddenly, but the slow burn of discontent, the background hum of unease that lingers in your days. You call it grumpiness, you call it fatigue, you call it boredom, frustration, melancholy, or a lingering heaviness you cannot quite name. But we say to you, this discomfort is not your enemy. It is not the devil you fear. It is, in fact, the whisper of the angel you do not yet know. You have lived long under the rule of the devil you know, the predictable discomforts, the familiar pain, the repeating patterns. You tolerate unsatisfying communication, unmet expectations, chronic emotional depletion. But these are the devils whose names you know. You wake, stretch, ache, and repeat. You endure relationships that feel one-sided, jobs that no longer spark joy, responsibilities that exhaust more than they nourish. And all the while, you convince yourself that perhaps this is simply life. Perhaps this is all there is. But we come to tell you, no, dear ones, it is not all there is. This ache within you is the nudge of the universe, gently pushing you from comfort of the known into the vast unknown, not to punish, but to invite, not to torment, but to awaken. There is another paradigm available to you, one you have only glimpsed, one you fear because it is unfamiliar. You fear it might be harder, more painful, more risky, but that is only because you have confused the unknown with danger. And this is your great misperception. For what waits beyond the known is not another devil, but an angel in disguise. The angel you do not know carries peace, carries healing, carries deep fulfillment. The angel you do not know is the version of yourself who feels whole, appreciated, and joyful without needing that recognition from others. The angel you do not know wakes up and no longer dreads the ache or the tension in the air because something deeper has shifted. But to meet this angel, you must pass through the discomfort. You must sit with it, not to dissect it with your mind or explain it with old stories, but to allow it to speak in its own tongue. Discomfort is a language of the soul. It is encoded with the wisdom of your buried truths, your suppressed grief, your unexpressed desires. You were never taught to understand this language, so instead, you ignore it, numb it, or project it onto others. But now is the time to learn. Now is the time to listen. You may feel unappreciated by those around you. You may feel tired of giving and not receiving. But what if those feelings are not evidence that something is wrong outside of you, but evidence that something inside you is ready to evolve? Dear ones, the people around you are often caught in their own unspoken traumas, their own devil-known paradigms. They may not yet be able to meet you in the place you wish to be met, and that is not their failure, nor is it your job to wait until they catch up. It is your invitation to rise anyway. It is your call to become the first to trust the angel, to step into the unknown, not because it is safe, but because your soul recognizes that the old ways are no longer life-giving. And so, how do you do this? First, you begin by appreciating yourself, not in a performative way, but in a quiet, grounded way. Let your inner voice say, I see you. I know how hard you've worked. I honor your growth and how much you have evolved. Then you allow the feelings to come, the grumpiness, the restlessness, the tension, the depression. But instead of escaping them, you welcome them like guests with wisdom to share. You ask them, not with judgment, but with curiosity, what do you want me to know? You take moments to sit in silence and listen. You begin to treat the discomfort not as a flaw in your life, but as the portal to the new. And when others are not ready to journey with you, you love them anyway. You soften your judgment and you hold space, but you do not dim your light, waiting for them to catch up. You lead. You lead by embodying the angel. You lead by refusing to return to the familiar discomforts just because they are known. You lead by showing that wholeness is not born from external validation, but from internal revolution. Do not be afraid, dear ones. We know this path feels lonely at times. We know it can be frustrating when your efforts are not matched, when your needs are not seen. But trust this, every step into the unknown brings you closer to the truth of who you truly are. There is an angel inside you who has been waiting to be invited in, waiting to rewrite the story, waiting to replace fear with trust, depression with peace, depletion with renewal, resentment with radiant love. We bring you this message from a place of love. Our love for you is everlasting and unconditional. May this message serve as a beacon through your discomfort, illuminating the truth that beyond every fear lies the possibility of a new beginning. Let it remind you that your willingness to step beyond what is familiar can awaken the sacred path of transformation. You are never alone on this journey. You are always being guided by the angels you do not yet know.